All right, guys, hopefully you had a chance to complete these. Let's take a look at what we have. So in this first pair of triangles, we have a side of 10 and a side of 10 that match up, side of 12 and a side of 12, and then we have this shared third side. Okay, so there is enough information to find congruence of triangles here. So if you identify the pattern or the congruence statement first, so triangle ABD, again, you can pick any order of those vertices, but they correspond to A is opposite 3 tick marks, so it corresponds to which angle? In the other triangle, C is opposite 3 tick marks. Angle B in the first triangle is opposite 2 tick marks, so it corresponds to D, opposite the 2 tick marks. And then finally, angle D in the first triangle is opposite 1 tick mark, so it corresponds to B. So here would be your congruent statement. Again, yours may not be in the same order, but as long as the pieces align in the right sequence. The pattern that's fulfilled here is 3 sides, so SSS. Okay, questions on that? All right, let's move to B. B, we have an angle of 25, so there's one pair of angles that are equal. All right angles are equal to each other, so there's a second pair. We have this shared side AC. So once again, is there enough information here to show congruence of triangles? We have 2 angles, the non-included side. So again, this side is not connecting these 2 angles, it's opposite one of them. So is AAS one of our patterns? Yeah. So we can write our congruent statement. Again, you can start with either triangle. I'm going to choose ABC just to make it easy. So A is the angle with no markings, so it corresponds to C. B is the right angle, so it corresponds to D. And then finally, C is the angle of 25 degrees, so it corresponds to A. The pattern was 2 angles and a non-included side, so AAS. Okay, the third one. Here we have 2 angles that match up. A second pair of angles that match up, and then angle C is shared by both of these triangles. Is AAA one of the congruence patterns? No. And so there's no other way to show this. You always have to have at least one side involved, so there's no possible way to show congruence of triangles in this figure. All right, the final example. Here we have an angle of 10, an angle of 10, a side of length 10, another side of length 10, and then we have this shared side as well. So we have two sides in the included angle. Is that a congruence pattern? Yeah. So even though this isn't drawn to scale and it doesn't actually pass the eye test, often these won't be drawn to scale, so you have to use the properties to answer questions. And so here we see that triangle ABD is in fact congruent to this other triangle. Let's find the pieces that match up. A is opposite the side with 3 tick marks, so in the other triangle that angle is C. Point B is opposite the side with 2 tick marks, so in the other triangle that also is B. And finally, D is the angle of 10 degrees. In the second triangle, that's also D. So the pattern is 2 sides and the angle between them, so SAS would be the justification.